Namaste and welcome to Youth TV Show Season 7. In today's episode, we will be discussing on the topic
The ability to question, a key to become a young woman leader.
To discuss on this issue, we have with us the President of Leadership Academy, Mr. Santosh Shah.
When we decided to mentor high school students in trying to see if they could get interested in national affairs, international affairs, focus more on the creative writing, what I and some of my interns did is we went to different schools and colleges, gave classes in high school, like whichever sections we got to talk to, and we encouraged students to join us. And the whole idea was that we would create young leaders, not just in politics, but in different sectors, that they would start to begin thinking creatively and actually believe that they could have ideas and people will listen to their ideas. So when we did that, we got about 80% boys and 20% girls. This is 2002, 2003. And in the interactions, you could even see in some of our photographs, the girls would be in one corner and it was always the boys who talked. So as the coordinator, I had to make effort to tell girls, please speak. And whereas the boys were very welcoming because that's how they were trained in youth forum, that they should encourage others to speak who normally does not speak in a forum like that. It's very difficult to make girls speak because the idea was also not to embarrass them if they didn't want to speak, not to force them to speak. In 2008, when I handed over my mentorship or conducting leadership classes to a young team that I had mentored since 2002 and 3, I realized that we had 80% girls and 20% boys, not just participating, but also taking the leadership roles in running the office, running the programs, taking lead in the society, and some of them were even taking projects on a national level, also working with international partners. So in 2008, I told myself, what made that happen? What made teenage girls, whom I trained in 2002 and 3, become young women leaders by 2008, which I didn't think that way, that they are going to become so successful. That's a topic I would like to discuss about.
When you said these things, there is one incident that came to my mind. When I was in 10th grade and I was having a discussion with one of my guy friends, I was talking about how I think that all guys think that they're superior than all girls, and I'm a girl, so obviously I don't know how guys think, and this was back in 10th grade. So I was talking about this and he said, well, yes, it's true, all guys do think that way. And I was like, if you are going to so openly tell us that you think you're superior to us without any reason, then how can you expect us to cooperate with you, or expect our participation in any tasks that you want us to do? And this is something that I got reminded of. What do you think of this? And this discouraged me to some extent, because this is not something I knew before. As I said, I'm a girl and I'm raised a girl, and usually I don't think girls think that way. Girls think that everyone is equal. At least that's how I thought until 10th grade. And when he said that really made an impact on my mind.
Everybody should be treated equal, that is for sure. That's how it should be. That's an ideal society. But unfortunately, we are a male-dominated world, not just Nepali society, but around the whole world. And all over the world, you will see most of the societies are male-dominated. And how are they male-dominated? Because the society has accepted it like that. And what does society do? It puts that thought into your head when you are very young. For example, until grade 9, you probably didn't care. You probably had equal environment. But then in grade 10, when you begin to take leadership positions, you're told either by your classmates or by your school or by your society that, hey, you're not the superior of the gender, so you cannot become a leader. So when you're told that you cannot become a leader, and when you accept it, what you do is you don't make the effort to become the leader. When you don't make the effort to become a leader, the chances for you to become a young leader diminishes because you're not making the effort. So this is how the cycle functions. But in your case, it was different. You said that you didn't cooperate with the male leaders, young leaders in your class. That means you denied that. Subconsciously, you denied the fact that they're superior. You didn't have an answer what to do, but in a way you denied that, which is a good start. There was a tension, maybe there was a bit of conflict, but it's a good start. So first of all, the answer is right there. Is you deny the fact that male are the superior and they are going to be the only leaders. Only they can be the leaders. Only they are going to lead the society. The very first thing you as a teenage girl should do is deny that fact. Even if your parents tell you, you can debate. Being disrespectful to parents is one thing, and debating with parents is another thing, or giving opinion is another thing. Right? Most of the time, either when we talk to our parents, either we talk nicely or we are irritated when we talk to them. But find a way where you can just communicate to them like you would do with your friends. Something more you could have done is talk to the boys in your class who thinks this way.
So, but when every guy thinks like that, there's no one willing to listen to me or willing to take me seriously, right? So how do I create a situation where, I'm...
Prakriti, as long as there's no physical fight that's going to erupt out of this, even if you debate with your classmates, saying that, hey, actually I don't really believe, and let's say nobody accepts your logic, at least you know that it's like a litmus test. You know that this is what the mindset of my entire class is like. There are countries where 100% of the men thinks women should not even have basic rights. There are. And if the girls speak out, they probably can get killed. So I wouldn't suggest the same idea over there. But at least in Nepal, you could debate and the time comes when the debate ends. And then you all go to your own homes. But you'll have an idea. You made the effort. It's like you did a litmus test. But again, as I said, we are, our own forum, youth forum, is a place where we have 80% girls. So for you also, within you're 2 years older than grade 10, in 2 years you see that you were in a class where no probably boys wanted to accept women leadership. Now in 2 years you are at a place where women are actually leading the programs, except for me, right, and 2 or 3 other boys. So for you to have that shift of perception is the best knowledge to have when you are going to train other young women or teenage girls. It's good to have both angle if they both exist, because most of the time when you watch a news or listen to somebody who is successful, you either hear a very inspirational talk or you hear a very sad story. But no society, no country, no office, no workspace is all great and all bad. It's a mixture of both. Maybe 1%, 99%, 99%, 1%, or in between. But there's nothing called absolute great society and absolutely worse society. It's a mixture of both. So for you to experience both of that, living in Kathmandu itself is a good exposure to have. But again, as I said, make the effort to question. Do not stop questioning. If you cannot question your teachers, your society, your parents, question yourself. Right? When you question, you get answers. And you need answers. To move ahead in life, to be a young leader, what you need is answers to a lot of questions. So you denied, but you could have also questioned. Maybe none of the boys would have answered, but you would have questioned yourself later on, and you would have found an answer.
Is it necessary to become competitive with guys to become a young woman leader?
If I want to be a leader, if I want to be successful, I don't need to think of 5 other people. Right? Let's say if you broke a world record of 100-meter race, then if you participate in the next race, whom are you competing against? It's your own record. Right? So at that point, you do want to win everybody for the consecutive year. But also you don't want to win everybody with 1 second more of the time than your last year record. You also want to beat your own record at the same time. Right? So you're competing not just with the rest of the group, but you're also competing with yourself. Right? So for example, you are going to a girls' school, you're not competing with the boys. You did fantastic in grade 10. When you go to grade 11, you want to do even better. So in those scenarios, you are competing with yourself. I have seen, in mentoring 2,000 girls and 1,000 boys till date, I have seen that once you climb Everest, you think, okay, I have achieved, I'm at the top of the world, I don't need to do anything. Well, there is something you still need to do, is climb down safely. Right? It's more dangerous to climb down safely than to climb up. So it's not over yet. When you are a very successful young person, or you have become a young woman leader, that's not enough. Right? The actual thing starts from there. Actual risk, actual sustainability, actual competition starts there. So yes, it's not necessary to compete, the boys, to be a young woman leader. But if you want to be a young woman leader, competition will always be there. The necessity to have those characters or components to maintain your success is always going to be there. And let's say you don't want to lead a society. You join engineering. Let's say you join a research firm, a research lab where people are engineering better earthquake resistant houses, big houses. You could be a leader in engineering. You don't have to be a political leader or a social leader who's just always fighting for the physical security of the women. You could be a banker, and you could introduce better loan systems for young women entrepreneurs, which doesn't exist in most countries. And you could actually win awards for that. You could actually be visible with your ideas based on that. That is also leadership. Although what you're doing is simple maths and business strategies. Maybe you're just discussing to 10 people in a boardroom and expressing and giving a PowerPoint presentation, but still what you actually did was leadership. Sometimes you do things and you don't even know that it was called leadership. And sometimes people claim to be leaders and they are in news everywhere and they have zero impact in terms of what they did. It has no impact on the public, sometimes even negative. So again, bottom line is you don't have to be in politics and social work to be a leader. Right? Leadership comes in every sector you take a lead. Nowadays you watch the TV shows called MasterChef Australia. What is that? It's a cooking show. And sometimes, trust me, there would be a housewife or a householder watching the show and say, I could make better food than that. Right? But it's just that she is not in the studio. If the same person was in the studio, maybe the same thing she does 3 times a day for the family, who sometimes appreciates or not, and sometimes does not appreciate. But if she was there on that show, maybe she would be an international celebrity. And that she would be a success. And if she teaches 5 other people how to do that, she becomes a leader. So when we are saying young woman leader, it involves all different sectors. So in Kathmandu, I have seen leadership is termed as very few things. Like you go in a protest, or you become the president of a club, or you become a young political leader. The concept of leadership is very limited. In my point of view, leadership means if you have expressed to the public, or a small mass, or a larger mass, with an idea concept that somehow benefits them within a short or long period of time. For example, the garbage issue in Kathmandu is very bad. And most of the time, it's the householders who are contributing to it, from the house front. Office, it's the entire educated mass who's contributing to the issue of garbage. If somebody just came up with an idea of how to do that, like we do in our office, we have 5% wastage only. And if everybody follows it, I think that's a great leadership. Most countries do that all over the world. Right? It's not that there is no garbage in Singapore. There is garbage in every society, every country. It's just that they manage it so well that you don't see it publicly. We don't manage it so well, so you see it everywhere. Right? So leadership can come about in any sector. And sometimes it could just be an idea that brings about that. And it's not difficult to think of an idea. Nobody is suppressing your head, unless you are in full tension. Right? Nobody is blocking your head from thinking. There is no men, there is no male-dominated society, there is no police, there is no legal system that stops you from thinking and coming up with an idea. right? Now there are many televisions, so one of them started by us called Future Leaders, where we bring a young person and just listen to his or her idea. 10 to 20 years back, when I used to give an idea in my class or in the society, people thought I was crazy. They used to think, why do you think differently? Something is wrong with your head. Why don't you think like everybody else? I said, okay, let me try. I wouldn't speak for 2 weeks. It's not that the idea didn't pop up. I just didn't speak. I would write. And then, it's like after 2 weeks, you have to give it out. Then again, okay, something is wrong with your head. He should go to the clinic. Right? So that was a disease. To have ideas was considered a mental disease. Now that's an asset. It's become a TV show. So you can come up with ideas, and sometimes that idea leads to a leadership.
I think her own area of interest, her own willpower, and her readiness to take risks and readiness to accept that negativity from the audience makes all the difference.
Ramila, you said 2 very important words. One is readiness. You have to feel like you're ready to take this challenge. Nobody should force you. If you think you are not ready to take a position of leadership, don't. Right? You have to feel you are ready. Now, you should not confuse that for not being ready for being lazy.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to feel, okay, you're ready to take this position now. It again applies to everybody. The other thing is you have to be aware that position of leadership comes with a lot of negativity. And not just critical feedback, but criticisms, no matter what good things you do. So most people get frustrated because they think they're doing good work, they are doing good work, good things are happening, and they think only good feedback is going to come. But no matter how good things you do, negativity is always there. If you keep that in mind, that negativity is going to come, and when it comes, at least you are not shocked and heartbroken. You may not like it, you may not know how to deal with it, but at least you know that what you expected came about. You post something on the video on the YouTube. There is 150 likes and 3 dislike button. Where will your focus go?
The like.
How many dislike are there?
3.
But how many likes are there? Is 150 not 50 times better? Where will your focus go 24 hours a day? The 3 dislikes. Who put the dislike? If only YouTube gave us the option to find out, we will find them out. Right? So it is also human nature to look at negativity more than positivity. You put a success story on Facebook. There are 150 comments. All congratulations, all the best, good job. What you will be fishing for is where there is 2 negative comments. You're not going to bother about replying to the congratulations in the initial phase. First thing you do is, as a leader, okay, who put negative comment? Let's find that out. So because we have a tendency to look at negativity first, that's what we attract. But again, to be in a position of leadership, there is going to be negativity a lot.
The thing is, we have to have that readiness to accept those negativity, as well as sometimes we have to give some negative feed forward as well, for positive changes, maybe it going to impact a mass audience, I think.
So now again, Ramila, if there is a negative feedback, you don't have to clarify it all the time. You should be very selective about that, because there is something called a crybaby leadership. Somebody comments and then you're always crying about it. There are many leaders, sometimes there are very good leaders, but they do that, and it kind of gives a very weak aspect of them. I personally try to do that very less. If there is negativity, I just don't care, because I have so much positive things to look at.
Yeah, sometimes just ignoring those negative things is best things to move forward.
Absolutely. If there are some 20 mosquitoes in your room, you don't call a military for for a hand grenade or something. Maybe you are at border war, maybe you would ask for that. But these are mosquitoes. That's going to be, you should think of some small solutions, or they're going to be there.
Earlier we talked that our parents doesn't listen us, they don't even try to understand us. But don't you think that we as children, or being a girl, we also have equal role to communicate properly that I'm going to do this. And don't you think that there is a communication gap in convincing our parents to allow us to do things that we are really want to be a part of that?
Communication gap is a real problem in Nepalese society, especially with the generational gap. We also have a tendency that when we become a teenage, we think our parents know nothing. And since we are a kid, our parents think we know nothing.
Yeah.
Because they're spending the money, you have some education. And because they didn't study that subject, you act smart. It's a very natural tendency all over the country. Even in villages, even in families with financially poor background, it's everywhere. Now, how does the communication happen? We talk to our friends and our parents talk to their friends and relatives. So your wish and their wish does not match. What are we, our society, and how is our society? If they go towards north and find a mango tree and it's delicious and it's free of cost, they don't tell anybody. They try to eat it alone. And when they go south and fall in a ditch, they shout, "Hey, come jump in this ditch, it's very comfortable." And they make 10 other people also jump and they say, "Okay, now we are equal." Now nobody says, "I was the only one who was stupid to fall in this ditch." So in training 3,000 people, there are 100 of mentees, trainees of mine, who left halfway just because their parents pulled them out. And that's because the parents, friends or relatives said that they were wasting their time because their kids were not coming to the training. So if my kids are not going to be trained or mentored leader, why should your kids be? So parents listen to this kind of talks more than seeing the progress. I would sometimes even call the parents and say, "Your son is doing so well, or your daughter is doing so well." And they would, "Oh yeah, but exams are coming, so they don't have time." They wouldn't say, "Okay, I heard horrible things about your training or you, that's why I'm going to stop sending them." Nobody has said that. They always have other excuses. Not a single parent out of 200, 300 who pulled out have said that they wanted to confront. Sometimes the parents of some of the best mentees who've done fantastic in public are the one who criticize the most because they don't want others to have the same training like their son or daughter did. Kind of exclusivity. When I found that, I started putting TV commercial of our trainings. A long time back, we were very small in number, only it was word to mouth, few people knew. Then I said, if for doing good work, if I get negative publicity, then maybe I should make it very public and increase the number of training seats. So earlier it was 30 a month, now it's 120 a month. So we put TV commercials, we put advertising in the newspapers and public, because I didn't want some people creating a negative image of something that's very nice and helping them. If the training were not good, how come their daughters are in a leadership position today? In our society, negative publicity is very high. If something is nice, you don't hear about it. Something is not nice, everybody talks about it. For a teenage girl to aim to be a young woman leader, one of the sad aspect is that you have to fight your own parents, or you have to convince your own parents, or you have to rely on your own parents to a great extent. It's not easy because it's a lot of things. You're connected emotionally. You don't want to hurt them. They don't want to feel make you in an unsafe position. So ultimately, 99.99% finds the comfort zone, and comfort zone does not make you a leader. To be a leader, you have to be in a very uncomfortable seat. I don't know why people fight for that chair, but it's a very uncomfortable seat. Right? That's what leadership is about, is sitting on a very uncomfortable chair. Right? And if somebody loves that chair, that doesn't make them a good leader. Like in our country, we see everybody fighting for the chair. They don't thinking it's a comfortable chair, but it's exactly not. If somebody finds a leader's chair comfortable, I think that doesn't make that person a good leader or exemplary leader. It has to be a chair of discomfort. The day I feel myself that my chair is very comfortable, I'll start doubting my own leadership or my own office or my own operations.
Thank you very much, Mr. Santosh Shah, for sharing your insights on the topic and answering our questions. The students who are SLC appeared are studying in grade 11, 12 or bachelor's level and wish to participate in our leadership development program, Youth Forum, held every Saturday between 11 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. Give us a call at 01-422-0459. Our email address is santoshshahfoundation@gmail.com. We will be back with a new episode of Youth TV Show next week. Namaste.